I'd like to address to you a question, a challenge, to prove me wrong. Today, I feel like this country has fallen under a dictatorship, especially in the bracket of the judicial system. I believe there's a judicial conspiracy going on, especially in my case and in other cases. Judges have become a power that is like a God power where there is nobody that they're accountable to, if they so choose. I have followed a trail to the politicians, to the people in Washington, D.C., to the ones at the state level, to the ones in Madison, the Assembly, the representatives, the senators, the governor. And they all point me that they can't do a thing about it. Any kind of judicial problems that you have to be addressed within the judicial structure. The person, if you think that the judge is out of order, out of line, there's a judicial misconduct, you deal with the Judicial Commission. I have approached the Judicial Commission. This is what I've received. I have put the complaints to them, saying that there's a certain judge that is not fair, that has done several different things. One time, she was behind a bench, and there was a juvenile in the court that she wanted to prove a point. And she says, I need to jump out from behind this chair. I should do that and kick your teeth down your throat. Another time she did come off the bench to another person, individual that was before that time. That boy that she told him to, that came right down to the chair, and she actually did point a finger in his face and chewed him out real royally. Said, that boy, he died that day. He committed suicide. I believe it was before 2 o'clock. That boy was dead because of Judge Mary Kay Wagner's attitude. Another time, a man, she was demanding money, a certain amount of money and child support for his case. He says, how am I supposed to get that kind of money? Go rob a bank? She says, I don't care if you rob a bank or put a gun to somebody's head. Get the money. According to her, that was the report that she gave. Another time, I found out that she has a second DUI. So I went ahead and did a little bit of research. I went down into the records department that's across the street to the west of the courthouse, down in the basement. There's all the court files and documents and who's got what land and what kind of taxes they pay and all that kind of stuff. I did not understand how to run a computer, and I had somebody in there that I don't know who it was. I don't know their name. I don't know nothing about them. But they reached over and they helped me just a little bit. I asked for her thing. I said, well, you do this. And she reached over across my end, and she helped me type things in. I said, is that what you're looking for? I said, well, actually, I'd like to know if it is true that Mary Kay Wagner has a second DUI. Mary Kay Wagner, boy, and then you just go on this. And that was a normal search, engine search, to find out the individuals. And it didn't come up. There were 3, 4, 5 Wagners across the state that had a second DUI, but it was not the right one. I said, this one's a judge. Oh, she's a judge? Well, then you have a different access code. And she typed in the numbers. A special access code number that I don't know what it was. Typed it in, up it comes. Wisconsin versus Mary Kay Wagner. 55th something, 2nd Avenue, same address that she lives on. I wish I would have gotten a photocopy of that printout. I didn't. I regret it. I approached all those things to the Judicial Commission. All the things that she said in the courtroom, things that she's doing to me, her second DUI, never have I seen a time where the Judicial Commission says, oh, it's good. I have contacted them. They always respond. It says, you continue allege that the judges in your case have made wrong decisions and you disagree with the way your case was handled, and so on and so forth. They can only deal with judicial misconduct. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell them. And they just says, well, there's not a judicial misconduct, and they deny it. I have several letters. James Alexander, executive director, never has a problem with what the judge said. There's such a thing as having representation in a court. You have the right to representation. That's only true if you have a lot of money or if you're not in a child support situation. If it's family court, you can't get a public defender. I have proof. They said they do not represent. So you can't get a public defender, and if you don't have the money, you're left helpless. You're out there hung to dry. And that happened in my situation. I had an attorney at one time, but after I went spiraled downhill under Judge Mary Kay Wagner, after a while you're totally broke. Then after paying $18,000 in 22 months, she just said, no, contempt of court, boom, threw me in jail. Slandered me. She said I was 11,000 behind. After that I found out, no, I was only 7. But because of her 11,000 seemed outrageous, and therefore she threw me in jail. Slandered. It's right on my transcripts. You can read them on the website. ScrewedKenoshaStyle.com. It continues. Let's give you an overview. After 2 years, something like that I had Judge Mary Kay Wagner, I approached the situation with a second DUI, put it on my website, sent her a copy of it. When I did that, she had enough, and she recused herself. Commissioner Plaus, the one that started my case, that made those errors, he's not an accountant. He did not know what he was doing. It's totally different, contradicting anything that the IRS or the accountants would say. He violated it. So anyways, he recused himself. Then Commissioner Fitzgerald, he recused himself. Then I had then I was given a notice in 2006, September 2006. I was given a letter in the mail. Said that I have till Friday. It was Wednesday. I have till Friday to come up with several $1,000s, or I will lose my driver's license. Well, without a driver's license, I can't go to work. There's no buses out in the country that's going to take me to the woods and wait till I'm done with logging, and then can take me back home in the evening. If my saw breaks down in the middle of the day, they'd have to be there helping to take it to the saw shop. I can't support myself. Therefore, I went to them and says, well, if you either have 2 choices. Either come up with the money or take it back into the court. If you have proof that you took it back into the court, we can't touch you. Okay, so I have to take it back into the court. So September of 2006, I took it back into the court. It wasn't until November that Judge Milisauskas was assigned my case. At first he did not want it. He says Judge Schroeder should take the case. Judge Schroeder says no, it clearly is Judge Milisauskas' turn. Judge Milisauskas in 2006, November, he stated that in the courtroom he was all edgy and all nervous, and he says he can't really make a decision today. He can't address any kind of situation. He needs a guardian ad litem. He needs this. He needs that. He needs to postpone the hearing until February. Make a scheduled hearing in February. When he scheduled it in February, it starts in September, goes to November. Now it's going to be in February. December and January are still to go. December, he recuses himself. January, Judge Schroeder gets assigned to my case, so I come to court February, the next month. I find out there was no court hearing. There is no court hearing. I drove all the way down to Kenosha for nothing. Spent money, spent motel money, driving, mileage, everything like that. There was no hearing. Judge Schroeder, even though Judge Schroeder had it in January, now it goes from January, or February now, all the way to May before I finally get the hearing. Isn't it supposed to be 60 days before I get a hearing? I started in September 2006. Now it's May 2007. I still haven't gotten a hearing. May, the judge was hitting on, pounding on me, ridiculing her. Okay, fine. He's fair. At least we both get a, we both get a fair. Some things I do wrong, and sometimes she does things wrong. And he says the homeschooling. He says I'm not opposed to homeschooling. However, he says I have a real strong regard. Either the homeschoolers are the best or the worst children, depending on the parents. He says I want those children tested. I said, all right, good, because I hate my children being in this cult that has abuse, not only physical abuse, black and blue marks, but also mental, physical, emotional, spiritual abuse that's going on in that system. I have it all on my website. Take a look at the next hearing then, July. There's no transcripts, because when we entered the room, the courtroom was under sound system breakdown or whatever like that, so we went in the back room. First thing that Judge Schroeder said, he says everything's going to be off record. I noticed that day that there was a definite change in him from May. May he seemed like he was fair. From that day on, he was not fair anymore.